What is up, everybody? My name is Rahul, and it is my favorite time of the year, or I guess every 3 months, because it is time for a new set. We have the Astral Radiance set that has just dropped. Well, I guess pre-releases have begun, so it'll be actually officially out on May 27th. And if you haven't seen already, I opened a booster box, thanks to the courtesy of Pokemon. But now the pack openings are done, it's time to jump into that competitive content that you guys are all juicy and excited for. Today is a set review from start to finish of all, I think, 189 cards that are in this set. And stay tuned tomorrow because I will also have a buy list video for you guys of what I will be personally purchasing from this set and why I think I should be purchasing these cards. So for now, let's jump into the set and look at the set review of everything competitive. The first card in our Astral Radiance main set is this Beedrill V. For Grass Colorless, you do 50 times the number of Beedrill V you have in play to one of your opponent's Pokemon, which means you do snipe. But Grass Colorless is a little bit more difficult to pull off. Yes, we have a really cool supporter in this set where we can get it off, and maybe it'll kind of work its way into this, but I do think having to have all 4 Beedrill V in play to do 200 damage is not a very good upside. I think there are much better upsides in general, and this is not one of them. Now we have the Hisuian Voltorb that has the... what? Why are there so many ads? Okay. We have the Hisuian Voltorb that has the Chipper Charge ability. You can only use this attack if you go second and only on your first turn. Choose up to 2 of your bench Pokemon, and for each of those Pokemon, search your deck for a basic energy card and attach it to that Pokemon. Then shuffle your deck. That is a very cool attack. I think this attack will have a ton of versatility in decks that need to get energy onto their board very quickly. Something like a Bronzong deck with the new Dialga. Something potentially like the Samurott deck to just pivot into getting 2 Samurotts set up on the first turn. Maybe even into RCS decks to get 2 RCSs powered up. Yes, I know going second, you probably don't want to be able to do something like this with an RCS deck even, but I think there's merit to having cards like this being played. Then we have the Hisuian Electrode. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so we kind of ignore all these ads. Thank you, Poke Beach. Very cool. The Hisuian Electrode comes in with the 2 other colorless attacks that could also be used very well with the Triple Draw and the Irritation Bomb, but I don't think this will ever make its way into a deck just because the the Voltorb already does its job pretty well, and this kind of just eats up space for no reason. Then we have the Scyther, which has, I guess both these Scythers are equally just absolutely terrible. They don't really do anything, so I don't know why they're here, more or less. Like, they just kind of exist. We have the Yanma, which does nothing as well, and then we have the Yanmega, which has, if you have more cards in your hand than your opponent for a DCE, it does 40 plus 80. So this can use Twin Energy to do 120, but the fact that this is such a, I guess, expensive attack on a stage 2 does not inspire too much confidence in what is going on here. I think this card is just significantly worse than anything else you could play. Cool for cubes or something like that for sure, but nothing for main format. We have the Heracross with Horn Attack, Grass Colorless 40 damage, and then we have Grass Colorless 120 and 30 Snipe. Again, we have this really cool new supporter, Gardenia's Vigor, but I think 120, 30 Snipe is really expensive for 3 energies, so it's not something we really want to be looking at. I'm also just going to block these ads real quick. Like, hello? I've tried blocking ads so many times on Poke Beach. Why does this keep happening? If someone knows something in the comments, please help, because I don't want to keep using Beach if this is going to keep happening. Sorry, don't mean to complain. Let's keep going. Thank you for the free service, I guess. Kricketot is a cute art, but nothing to write home about. Kricketune has an ability here, Overflow Melody. The HP of each of your grass Pokemon is increased by 40. You cannot apply more than 1 Overflowing Melody at a time. God damn it. I guess if you're playing some sort of like a grass deck, I think the Lilligant is pretty good. I gotta go read it again when we get to that point, because I mean, I think the Lilligant and the Kricketune are meant to be paired together to kind of give it the extra beefy HP to kind of stay alive. But the question is 40 HP really enough to kind of swing the warrant? Like, is it warranted to play this card? And I think the answer is no. So for now, I'm going to put this in a no category. Combi, 10 out of 10 card. Let's go next. I'm kidding. Grass, Honey Step. Search your deck for an item card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Then shuffle your deck. Now, this is very clearly synergized with the Vespiquen that has Honey Rush. You may reveal any number of Sweet Honey item cards and does 60x. So I guess you can do... You just reveal them. You don't have to shuffle them in. You don't have to do anything else. You just I guess, get the board set up, do 240, do 240, do 240, do 240. But you can obviously get Marnied, and all 4 of those sweet honeys then go to the bottom of your deck. I guess there's other stuff that can just happen in that regard. But I don't know if this is like a fun deck or something. I think I definitely want to try this Vespiquen Honey deck, but it is a fun deck at best. I think 240 is a lot of damage for 1 grass energy. I will say that, but yeah. Then we have the Leafeon that has Energy Garden. Search your deck for up to 3 basic energies, but it is on a stage 1, so I think it's just like way too slow to actually like use efficiently. And then Leaf Cyclone is just, I think, significantly worse than anything. Bright Gift, this can only be used on your first turn. If you go second, search your deck for up to 3 cards, put them into your hand. I'm just going to keep zooming until this ad disappears. Perfect. Now the card is covered. I hate myself. Okay, we're going to go up here now. Shaymin with the Bright Gift ability, you can search your deck on your first turn, get 3 cards and put them into your hand. So this is a very cool ability going first, because most decks cannot Marnie you instantly going second. It's very difficult for them to be able to do that. So you can maybe be able to like slot a Shaymin in specifically for if you go first, just get 3 cards and just set up your deck perfectly. If a deck has like a lovable engine, so maybe this card is really, really good, and I don't know it. Bounce Around is not great, but obviously you have to go first. You have to find a Ball Search card, and you have to find a pivot to go into this card to make it even work. Petalil, 10 and switch, mediocre at best. Hisuian Lilligant, 20 just spread. 20 spread for a DCE, and then 100 vanilla for Grass Double Colorless. So nothing crazy either with this. But here is the creme de la, like the card we wanted to talk about. Hisuian Lilligant V with a colorless attack you can draw to 6, which is not bad. Not bad. If you go second, for example, and this is like your main like deck, I guess, like this is what you're like trying to do with the deck, you can just kind of play a bunch of cards out on turn 1, quick balls, ultra balls, whatever, you know, like you're going to be playing a lot of like hand thinning cards. That's why cards like Snorlax have been good in the past. Jubilee City might be very good, or Village, I think, might be very good. So Dance could be a really cool attack to just pile your hand up. The 130 vanilla is nothing crazy, and the 200 HP is a little bit on the lower side. So, and then we have the Hisuian Lilligant V-Star. Let me make sure you guys can see the card a little bit. I'm trying to block the ads. I apologize. Grass Double Colorless, or Grass Colorless, 130, return energy, 100 more. So 230 for 3, which seems really expensive. Yes, I agree. But we have that new supporter, Gardenia's Vigor. So that card might be the card that we were looking for to kind of make everything here work. That all being said, maybe the Kricketune doesn't find a place in this deck to put it at 300. Does 300 over 260 change too much math? I think the answer is no. I think you're getting 2-shot anyway. And then you have Star Perfume. For any 5 grass Pokemon and energy, put them into your hand. So this is like basically like a turn 2. I'm going to set up my whole board all at once and get my grass energies that I need for the Gardenia's attack. So maybe this is really crazy good in a setup deck, and maybe this is enough to just kind of get the ball rolling, because setup V-Star attacks like Starbirth have been very similar, and Starbirth for a majority of the time has been used on turn 2 to simply get the DTE out of the deck, rather than like some weird combo that everyone thought would happen originally. So I think this Lilligant is definitely like a 4 out of 5 like in playability, and I think this is like a card that I could very easily see play. Jump On. Rowlet has no actual effect here. Dartrix also has nothing to write home about. And there is no Decidueye because he's a fighting type in this set. I completely forgot about that. That is on me. There's a Ponyta there's a Rapidash. There's a Cyndaquil. Heatran V. Liz has a Hot Burn, which just is 30 burn. Very bad. RRC 90 plus, so 180 for 3 fire, and you have to have a stadium in play. Pretty bad for what a V Pokemon can do. Let's see if the Vmax is something crazy. The Vmax is if you have a stadium, heal 50. Okay. Not unreasonable. You have the heat energies, I think, still in format, or fire energies, or whatever they're called, or the you know what I guys mean. And then the big charm as well. So you go to 360 plus maybe 380, 400 potentially. Heal 50 puts a 2 into 3 shot potentially. And then the attack is 2 fire and a colors, 180, and they're burned. That's very mediocre for a 3-prizer. If you are not a 3-prizer, maybe a 4 retreat cost. Okay, that is a bad card. Oh no, Mr. Heatran. Then we have the Radiant Heatran. We have these new Radiant Pokemon where you can only play one Radiant Pokemon in your deck at a time, so you have to really make it count. Radiant Heatran, I think Radiant Hawlucha and Radiant Greninja are the three that are in this set. So let's go look at Radiant Heatran first. RCC, 70x the number of damage counters. So for a simple Magma Basin DTE attachment, or I guess Gapejaw Bog to put it down, put 2 onto it as well. Gapejaw Bog Raihan is 140. Gapejaw Bog Magma Bass, that's 2 stadiums. I guess you have to wait till next set with the damage moving things. Because there is the like Zoroark and the like pump that moves the damage, and the Gengar. So for now it's not great. Like Raging Bomber is not great, but I'm trying to think of combos and it seems like very mid right now. So like a 2 out of 5 for this current moment. But next set I think it'll be good with the pump and the Gengar for sure. We have a Psyduck as well introduced in this set, and a Golduck. Yeah. Yep. Just discard both actives. Okay, cool. While you guys are watching this, sorry, I didn't mean to plug this a little bit late. We're only on card number 30, but if you are enjoying the content and want to be ready for the buy list video for tomorrow, please remember to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for my videos. We are so close to 4,000, and I'm very, very excited to, get to that milestone, because after coming back about a year ago, I didn't think we would even get close to this. And thank you to everyone who's been enjoying my vlogs and all my other content and all the incredible comments you guys have been leaving me. You guys are the real MVPs. I am sponsored by Dragon Shield as well now, so I will be doing some sort of a video or a giveaway coming up soon here. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But you do have to almost always be subscribed to subscribe now. Just save yourself some trouble. So Star EV is a basic for CC. We do 50, which is super whatever, right? Like it's super whatever on a V Pokemon. But for 2 waters, we do 50 times the number of energy attached to all of our opponent's Pokemon in play. So it's a really cool counter card in decks like the Palkia. Anything that plays Melanie can get this guy powered up in 1 turn. Give ourselves a huge angle to kind of just make a play if our opponents overcommit energies onto the board, if our opponents play poorly. And then the moment we pull this off in a game 1 scenario, they have to be thinking about this for the remainder of the set a lot of the time. Swinub is nothing crazy. The Ploswine is nothing crazy either, but he's vibing. The Ploswine looks like me, because we both need to get haircuts. So keep that in mind. We have Mamoswine as well. So nothing crazy here. Iceberg Press is okay for Water Colorless, 170, and discard an energy from this Pokemon, and the defending Pokemon can't attack. But I do think there's a lot of switching effects and like Scoop Up Nats and like Sharon's Care and stuff like that. So maybe in a different universe, Mr. Mamoswine. Mantine, it's just Echoing Horn, but worse. I guess you can get it from your discard too, but I don't know why I'd want to do that when I could just play Recovery. Aqua Edge for a hundo. Barbooch. How do you pay for something? With cash. There's our first Reggie that we've seen. Reggie Gate, I think, is on all of the Reggies, if I'm not mistaken. I'm probably going to get to a Reggie later on, and it's not going to be there. And I'm going to be incredibly embarrassed because I just said what I said. But it's search your deck for basic and put it onto your bench. And if you didn't know by now, you need all 6 Reggies in play, all 6 different Reggies, not just 6 Reggies, to get the ability for Mr. Gigas off. And yeah, I will get there when we get there, but each of the Reggies seems pretty cool. Our Ice guy says Water Colorless, hundo, and if they're a V, they can't attack during their next turn. This is very mediocre because everything's got Switch and everything's got Gust nowadays. So it really makes Blizzard Bind kind of okay at best. But if we were hitting for water weakness somewhere, yeah, we're gonna call in the troops. We're gonna call this guy in. Glaceon is just 30 and no evolution Pokemon, and then Ice Blast for 120. Oh, cool! We've got the big boys, the big hitters. The guys are coming in. Origin form Palkia V. He's a horse now. He gets a stadium, puts it into our hand, and then for Water Colorless, we do 2 hundo. A lot of damage. Not bad. Not bad on a baby. Choice Belt kills a lot of Vs. Choice Belt does kill a lot of Vs in the format. So, Lightning Week also. And here we have the Origin form Palkia V-Star, which I think is one of the best cards in this set, if not the best card in this set. I know it's a bold statement off the bat already, but I think this is probably one of the best. I think it's like top two, like top two cards in the set from what I have seen, from what I have experienced already, and from results in Japan. For 2 waters, you do 60 plus 20 for each bench Pokemon in play. So it is just a significantly better Suicune, because already we're doing 60, 160 on our side just itself without our opponent having any bench Pokemon in play. Choice band 190, and then if they have even one bench Pokemon in play, that's 210. I mean, 190 is already enough, or like 160 is already enough to two-shot anything in the game. So Spatial Swell is already very, very incredibly good. Yeah, the ability Portal Star, or Star Portal, is once during your turn, you may use this ability. 3 water from your discard pile to your water Pokemon in any way you like. So just randomly, you're going to be like, all right, cool, let me just pop the guy, get 3 waters on the board, Melanie, 3, another one onto the board, draw 3 cards, get another attachment. Oh, hey, by the way, I have 5 energy in play, and you're going to be like, what? So, yeah, pretty cool card. Pretty cool card. Oshawott is vibing. He's vibing. This Duat is sleeping. Hisuian Basculin, however, is doing some schooling and has Call for Family for no energy cost. So it could be okay, but 50 HP is a world of trouble. We have the Basket Legion, which says 30 water 30 plus 90 if we were knocked out last turn. And we confused them. So kind of cool, but it's more of like a revenge deck. 120 is like very little damage, 150 with Choice Belt, so we'll see. Second attack is just not good. Keldeo is also one of these Pokemon that flourishes off of our bench. Not our opponent's bench, however, so maybe it doesn't have any space in Palkia, because a Water Colorless is a pretty expensive attack to be maxing at 110. There's probably better one-prizers in the format that we can just play in that slot, this Keldeo slot, but yeah. There's our second Radiant Pokemon, Radiant Greninja. Ability Concealed card. You can discard energy, draw 2 cards. Instantly good in Water-type decks. Instantly good in Dark-type decks. Instantly good in Fire-type decks. Just instantly probably the best Radiant Pokemon in this set off the bat. For Water Colorless, you can also discard 2 energy from this Pokemon and do 90 to 2 of our opponents. So turn 2 going first, we can just go boom, Palkia, Concealed card, draw 2, put some waters into our discard with a Capacious Bucket. Do it again, Concealed card, draw 2 more, build our hand all big, use Palkia's ability, get the 3 energy onto the Greninja, Melanie somewhere probably, because we probably need to Melanie, and get more energy onto our board, and then we just Moonlight Shuriken, pop 2 Sobbles, pop 2 things, put 90 on 2 of our opponent's attackers, Palkia cleans up nicely. The best part is this Greninja does not go to the Lost Zone or anything when they are knocked out, so we can bring this back with a Clara, we can bring this back with an Ordinary Rod, we can bring this Greninja back to draw cards after we've already used our Moonlight Shuriken. Very cool card. Very, very cool card. Will incentivize, I think, Manaphy seeing play in decks if it is not already. Burger Mite, nothing to write home about. Mr. Lug. It's like a lot of like stuff going on here, but it's just a bad card. Galarian Mr. Rhyme. Search your deck for 3 items, put it into your hand. No. Water Colors, 90 plus 90 if you have a tool. I guess you could go 210 with Choice for 3 water. So maybe it's good in like a Palkia deck, but like when is that ever just better than Suicune? Like when is this just ever better than playing Suicune? I guess you're putting all your eggs into one basket if you're playing Suicune. But yeah. Luxray V, another one of these, I think, bulk Vs. But the Fang... Okay, sorry. I actually misspoke. I think Fang Snipe is pretty good for control decks because it's double colorless. So you go 30... Oh. Where did I go? Who's that guy? We do 30, and we look at our opponent's hand and just get a trainer, so we can eventually just like lock our opponent's hand into a place by using like DTEs. Because the damage is not irrelevant for control decks, really. So we can just always Fang Snipe stuff out of people's hands, I guess, with Roxanne. So you can go Roxanne, put our opponent to 2, Fang Snipe, check their hand, rip a card out, make them rely on a top deck, potentially. Not bad. Lightning Pulse is whatever, or Radiant Pulse is whatever. Okay, interesting. Oh, there's our second Reggie, and it immediately does not have... Oh, no, dude. This guy doesn't have the Reggie thing. Okay, whatever. This guy gets an item to our hand, and then the target bolt does discard 2, and does 2 lightning and 120 to one of our opponent's bench. So the Aleki is the sniper in the deck. The Aleki, if the ice made our opponent's Pokemon not attack into us for V, the target bolt is a sniper. He's our sniping guy. Hisuian Typhlosion, discard a Psychic, and their active is burned and confused. It's like a cool ability, but on a stage 2, like that's kind of steep, bro. Like on a stage 2, I don't really feel like setting this guy up. And then Shadowbind is 90 and they can't retreat. Okay. Hisuian Typhlosion V. Hydration break, everybody. I need some water. You're going to need some water too. Water. I drink it so I don't die. Singe. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now burned. Okay. Psychic colorless. 120. Choose a card from our opponent's hand without looking and shuffle it back in. If it was discard, maybe it's better, but like just to shuffle in is mid at best. And now we have the Typhlosion V-Star. Psychic colorless. 180 and 3 damage counters on our opponent's bench in any way we like. And then we have the Shadow Roaster ability, or attack, sorry. If their active is 4 damage counters, we just pop it. So we can, I guess, set up a Hollow Flame, like the Hollow Flame into the damage counters on our opponent's bench. Can always set up one of their threats to just immediately get wiped. So Shadow Roaster gets to kind of cheat 2 prizes or 3 prizes potentially out of nowhere. And I guess you can play Ziggy to establish damage counters on their board. And I guess you can also play Inteleon, but Psychic colorless is very steep of an attack cost to pull this off. I'm unsure if we have any Psychic acceleration in the format. We might, and I might just be completely blanking right now. But if we don't, I feel like this is very okay at best. Yeah. Dark type weakness is also not good right now, because Mew will still be around for a little bit. Togepi heals for 10 damage. So if that 10 damage was relevant, we could play a Togepi instead of a freshwater set. And then we can heal 30, actually. So now instead of playing 2 freshwater sets, we can play a Togepi and a Togetic line. So at this point, we've committed the exact same amount of resources for a stage 1 Pokemon in our deck. And then we can play heal for 90. This might be significantly better, but now we're going into a stage 2 that I could have just healed with a card called Cheryl, probably. And the attack is not good either. Mischievous has Mumble. Miss Maggie says Ominous Chant. If their opponent has 4 or more, you choose cards until I have only 3 cards remaining. This could be really cool in a control deck, but you have to play Psychic Energy, which already defeats the purpose, I think, of like what control archetype you're trying to do. So potentially late game with a control deck, or no, it's shuffle. It's not discard. It's not make them pay, which was discard, I think. So it's kind of just bad because you're just like putting those resources back in your opponent's deck, and they have a chance to draw them. But maybe I'm just wrong, and it's really going to be good in control. Yeah. Ralts has nothing special here. Both the Curly and the Ralts have the exact same attack, just more damage. It's just a hit and switch. Buddy Catch Gallade has a really cool ability. You can get a supporter card once per turn and put it into your hand. But the unfortunate caveat here is that Gallade is a stage 2 Pokemon, so getting Buddy Catch up and running is a little bit of a steep ask in general. So, and then Helix Cutter is 160 for Psychic DTE, and you can just move an energy from this Pokemon to one of your bench Pokemon, which includes an energy card, I believe. So you can move the DTE, you can move the Twin Energy, you can move whatever, and keep powering up our guys. We have Drifloon and Drifloon. 50 and 2 damage counters. So this could go in the Hisuian box, the Hisuian Typhlosion box, I guess. But it's also a stage 1, so again, a lot. Uxie, Wise Guidance, switch your deck for a card, put it in your hand. Pretty weak. It's kind of weird to see the Lake Trio being weak, because historically, almost all the times Lake Trio has been good, they've all been very, very good. So we're getting a weak iteration of the Lake Trio here, I think. Mesprit, if you have everything in play, all 3, your Pokemon have no weakness. So maybe it's like really good in like an Arceus deck or something, but you have to have all 3 in play. So that's pretty like a pretty heavy commitment to get no weakness. Mind Bend, 30. Yeah, this is a terrible Lake Trio this time around. Good lord. This Deancey, absolutely busted, absolutely broken. Ability Princess Curtain, as long as this Pokemon is in your active, whenever your opponent plays a supporter card from their hand, prevent all effects of that card done to your benched Pokemon. That is Avery. That is Boss's Orders. That's it. That's 2. And then you can also throw this guy into the active and Spike Draw to end your turn to do 20 damage and draw 2 cards as well. So if the Diancie does get knocked out, which your opponent will have no choice but to knock out unless they play an escape rope, and you don't have another Diancie, is you can just always set up for a Raihan play, which is absolutely fantastic. Wordier has the just draw card. And then 40 plus 80 if you have the same number of cards in your opponent for a DTE, which is not bad, but it's not good. Growlithe, defensive stance, and the bite. Nothing crazy here. The Arcanine has Scorching Horn 80 plus 80 if you have fire attached. So the third energy has to be fire to go to 160, and then we burn them. So we go to 190. So 220 with Choice Belt. I think that's really steep for 2 fighting and a fire. Like, that's very, very steep. We have the Machamp, which Revenge Buster. 50 plus 50 if you have any damage counters. Gapejaw Bog does this. Magma Basin does this. Tons of ways to get damage on our board. Seismic 140. Okay. Then I think the Vmax is very, very similar. Yeah. 80 plus 140, which is actually not bad. That's 220, 250 with choice. Grant puts us at 280. So that's a lot of damage. We can one-shot a lot of things in this format with all of these tools available to us. It is a lot of cards that I just mentioned, but yeah, we can get that done. We can get that done pretty easily. And then with the pickaxe plus like other cards, we could probably power them up in one turn as well. So you can Cheryl into this, I guess, as well. Whatever in general. Max charge 240, nothing crazy. I mean, I guess like you can just get the vanilla 3 on and do 240. It's like 3 for like 2 something is like becoming a staple of this format, so not bad. Again, the problem is that Machamp Vmax is a 3 prizer, so we have to watch out for that and how much you're giving up in the process, because if you give up 1 Vmax, the V is not good enough to kind of ride the game on its own, so you need to be able to go Vmax, Vmax, and a lot of the time that means the game will end, so keep that in mind. Skedaddle Boy can run away with damage counters, so maybe this is the pivot this Machamp deck needs, with damage counters with the Gapejaw Bog. And then we have the Reggie. There's another one with the Reggie Gate. Reggie Rock has the Reggie Gate attack that we were talking about. And then Fighting Colors, 140 and can attack during our next turn. So this is a one-shot on RCS V-Star with weakness given to us. If there's a Dunsparce, we can snipe it with the Aleki and go in with the Rock to finish up the game. The Rock also, I think, hits into... I mean, like, fighting weakness is just good. So, good card. Good meme deck. And we have our Fossils. Cranidos is 40 plus 40 if you flip a coin and get heads. That sucks. And the Rampardos is 240 if they have 3 or fewer cards in their hand. But we have no Roxanne. But Roxanne's only if they're at like 3 prize cards. So do we start playing the game at 3 prize cards with Jurassic Hammer? Or like, what do we do? Do we just exist? I don't know. I feel like this is very like steep and situational for what it's trying to do. So Lucario V is another 50 and discard a special energy from our opponent's active. I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is the exact same as the V-Star box, like the promo box. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure. This Hippopotas art is one of my favorites. He's just running away. The Hippowdon Bite Sampras. Radiant Hawlucha is the last, I think, Radiant in this set. Sparkling, we have the rule already. Big match. If it's on your bench, your attacks do 30 more to your opponent's Vmax. So... kind of cool if you're trying to kill Vmaxes. Kind of unfortunate there's not that many Vmaxes in the format. That'll be all. Thank you so much. The Decidueye is here as well. 30 times the number of damage counters on your opponent's active. Direct Arrow is just 80 snipe for fighting double colorless, which is not bad, but that's a lot of energy on a stage 2 to do 80. Like, that's a lot of resources to do 80 damage, man. That is not a lot of damage. Okay, now we have the Decidueye V. Mountain Hunt, search your deck for up to 2 cards, put them in your hand. Really good for fighting. Just a blanket computer search, like, cool. I'm going second, fighting, just get 2 cards, cool. And then we have Point Blank Shot 100, just Shred. 100 Shred, so you have a built-in Shred for the deck. And then we have the Somersault Feather, 160 plus 3 basic, or 3 energy cards we choose to discard. So 160 to 270, 300 with Choice Belt. Pretty good damage. And then the V-Star power is just draw till we have 8 in our hand. So we can just go play. We get Roxanne or something. Draw till we have 8 in our hand. So Wind Cloud Star is pretty good. Cleavor is 10 plus 30 for each of your opponent's bench. Another one of these bench like gimmick guys, and it's not very good. Another Cleavor is Lumberjack. So we flip 2 coins. If they're both heads, our opponent dies. Pretty funny. I expect to see a couple of YouTube videos around this Lumberjack hack. Free content for everyone watching. Cleavor V is the Battle Slash Axe. 150 for 5 FFC, discard 1 energy from this Pokemon, and then discard an energy from them. So it kind of acts as a dual edge effect, but again, fighting only has the pickaxe to kind of accelerate to itself, so it becomes significantly worse in a vacuum. So, yeah. And also, Grass Weakness is probably going to get worse. Throne Rush for the hit Quillfish. It's another Quillfish. Overquill is 30 plus 30, or 30 plus 90 if we have 3 Darks in play, which is really easy to get with any deck. Don't get me wrong, we have Dark Patch and all that stuff, but 120 on a stage 1 for an attachment is pretty bad. So just don't play this guy. Another Overquill, which is poisoned, intense poison, 5 damage counters, and then they can't retreat 50. So again, mediocre at best, I think. And then we have the Sneasel and the Sneasler. Sneasler is another repeated ability that we've seen across all of Pokemon's history. When it's on your bench, your active has 2 less retreat cost. We've seen this ability time and time again, and it's not very good, I think. Hisuian Sneasler V is a poison on the active, and then 80 times each special condition affecting your opponent's active. I think there's a Curry in this set as well, so the Curry plus this could make a play, but I also think this is probably going to be good next set with the Electrode V. But this is like very, like, okay, we can do 160 probably. What next kind of thing. Or we can Yell Horn them, I guess, as well. Confused, burned, poisoned, 240. That's a lot of cards to do 240. Poochyena. Mightyena. This Mightyena is very, very good, actually, because the ability Hustle Bark basically lets Mightyena attack for free if there's a Vmax in play. Now, Mightyena is also Dark type, so Mew is weak to Mightyena naturally. With the Oricorio, you will not die to Mightyena. However, the Wild Tackle will do 322 Psychic type Pokemon. 160 for free seems pretty good if you expect Mew. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, I drove 5 hours home this morning, so I am exhausted. Absol has Sweeping Calamity. 10 to each of your opponent's Pokemon. Not very good. Clawrend for Dark Colors is 120 if they have damage counters already on them. This is actually a really cool sweeper card, not because of the Sweeping Calamity itself, but because if you can play this card in a Samurott deck, which should be putting damage counters on your opponent's board somehow, you can go Sweeping Calamity turn 1, set it up so Samurott has attacks for the remainder of the game, and Clawrend can also be your 1 prize cleanup if this guy survives for 1 more turn. So this card I think will definitely, potentially will see play. I like this card, especially in the context of Samurott. We have Darkrai V. First attack sucks. Second attack, 130 for Go Sleep. We'll just go to the V-Star. It's fine. The V-Star is Dark Pulse. 30 plus 30 for each Dark attached to all of your Pokemon. I have never seen a Darkrai have Dark Pulse, have you? This is entirely satire. And we have seen Darkrai have Dark Pulse. A lot. So, it's nothing new. But technically it's an infinite damage glitch from our Darkrai. And Darkrai has Star Abyss, so we can get 2 item cards and put them into our hand once per game. Basically, like just yoink 2 Dark Patches, yoink a catcher, yoink a Battle VIP Pass, yoink a Cramomatic, yoink a Ultra Ball, whatever. You know, we get to play the game. So really cool ability, really cool attack. I think the damage needs to ramp up pretty quickly if you're playing Darkrai, and getting the Darks into the discard will be the most difficult part. 2 Dark Patch, so I can see like a very consistent, straightforward go research every turn Darkrai, but there's no Dedenne in format. There's no, I mean, I guess there's Crobat, but like that does not do what Dedenne used to do for dark decks, like Dark Rush decks. Hisuian Samurott, not this Samurott. It has trade, but you can draw 3, but it's on a stage 2, and the attack Dark Prison is actually pretty good. 60 plus 20 for each energy attached to all your Pokemon. So pretty good in this like Darkrai deck or whatever, because you can trade the energies, make the play. But you also have the Greninja, which lets you discard the energies already. So obsoleted immediately. We're drawing 1 less card on a basic Pokemon. Fine. And then this attack is just a mediocre version of Darkrai's attack, which should be doing infinitely more damage than this at some point. Hisuian Samurott V has Zigzag Drop. Just discard 2 tools. I think that's completely irrelevant. I don't think tools are very big right now in the game. And then we have Shadow Slash for 180 and discard energy. So not bad, but it's 3 Darks, so it's really hard to pull off. But I guess you're probably only playing Darks. And then we have my favorite card other than the Palkia. I think this is my personal favorite from the set, Hisuian Samurott V-Star. Dark, 110, and then 110 if they have more damage on them. So, very easily shareable, very easily healable, very easily hyper potionable, whatever, because we have Dark Patch in the format. So we can power this guy up very, very easily. And 220 to just be able to keep swinging and tempoing, pretty good to me. 250 with choice. They probably already have damage counters on them, so they do not have a full grip of HP. Inteleon means that we can just start pinging and kill them. And I like that a lot. I think the damage is crazy good here. And we can play cards like Leon to buff our damage. We can play other cards in here. Samurott is one of my favorite contenders from the set. I think the grass type weakness is irrelevant. And I think the Moon Cutting Star ability, which is just putting 4 damage counters on one of our opponent's Pokemon, is incredibly underrated to just kind of pop something. Like, go Moon Cutting Star, boss, just take out a threat. We just instantly take out a threat on our opponent's board. Kind of crazy. I really love this card a lot. The Nickit and Thievul. Oh, the Thievul has a really cool ability. I remember this. Befuddle. If your opponent has 2 or fewer prize cards, supporter cards played from your opponent's hand have no effect on your benched Pokemon V. So, I guess if they Avery, maybe you can select the V Pokemon and they don't get discarded. But I will say that means Boss is no longer relevant, which makes a huge world of a difference. But this is on a Stage 1 deck. So, maybe this goes in some sort of like a Zoro control type of deck, where your opponent cannot boss certain things up to end the game. Magnemite gets 3 metals, and then nothing else. Oh, we shuffle them into our deck. That's pretty hot, actually. Bounce back is 50, nothing else. But here is the kicker. Magnezone has Giga Magnet once during your turn. Look at the top 6. Choose any metal, attach them to your Pokemon any way you like. So this is going to be the card that kind of plays into our Bronzong strategy, or if we just want to play into straight Dialga, this also factors in pretty well, because straight Dialga, the first attack is pretty good. You don't even have to rely on the V-Star a lot of the time. Registeel, another one of our Reggies that has Regigate, so somehow I got super unlucky with a Lakey. And then this one does 220, minus 50 for each colorless in our opponent's active retreat cost. I think this will probably be like a lesser used attack, because almost everything has 1 retreat cost at least in this format. So hitting for 170 for 3 seems pretty okay, but not amazing. And then obviously, if they have 2 retreat, feels bad, man, right? Like, feels bad. 3 for 120, that's bad. Shieldon is just a flipped card here. Bastiodon is 30 less from Pokemon V on our guy for every Pokemon, but that is just really hard. Like, that's a really, like, bad ability for a Stage 2. Like, if we're playing a Stage 2, it's got to be good enough that I can warrant playing it, but this is a really bad ability for a Stage 2. Iron Tackle is just 180 and 32 itself. A new Bronzor is got Paralyzed. And a new Bronzong, which is just almost exactly the Bronzong we've seen before, with Heat Proof, prevent all fire-type attacks. Now, this is probably not going to be relevant until I go to the 2019 World Championships and play against this round 1, and every card in my deck is a fire card, and I lose. So, in that exact scenario, it'll be relevant. I'm telling you guys, you just got to go back to 2019. I'm not salty about it, I promise. Origin Form, Dialga V. Metal Coat's actually really cool, because we can get the 2 metals and just start powering this guy up immediately. The problem is everything in the format can hit 220 pretty easily, so we have to be very careful of that fact. Going first or going second on our first turn, maybe Metal Coat's just broken and our Dialga never dies, but I doubt that. And then Time Halt is 180 for 4, which is terrible, but we have the Dialga V-Star, which is another really cool card, probably my 3rd, 4th, I don't know, it's good, it's good. Metal Blast is 40 plus 40 for each metal on that Pokemon, so 3 metals, we're swinging for 160. We play Bronzong, we move them off, we Cheryl, we go again. Like, super simple, super easy strategy. And then eventually we can go Chrono Star for the 5, basically 4 metal and a colorless. 220, take an extra turn. Pretty insane, because we can just kind of work our way up to that with the Metal Blasts. Or we can Chrono Star to buy tempo on like a baby thing. Like, all Vs have like 230 or less, basically. So we can basically bring up a baby V, Choice Belt, Chrono Star something. And then now we have a ton of energy on the board. And potentially we can just close out the game with a Metal Blast, which I really like that idea that we can do this. Pawniard. This is also a really cool card. Bisharp has Revenge / 30 plus 30 for each damage counter on your bench. Pawniard with Gapejaw Bog. We can max our damage here at 210 without Choice Belt, 240 with Choice Belt on a 1 prizer for a metal. Being able to recycle these Pawniards in your Gapejaw Bogs. A very easy, consistent 240 if you can get the ball rolling. The problem is, how quickly can you get the ball rolling, and can you do this without playing a secondary engine that takes away from your strategy? So a very cool, fun deck that I hope to see people play. Don't really know where it's going to stand. Garchomp V. This card is absolutely terrible. It's just discard 3, 220. Absolutely terrible. Like the two fighting in a water. Like come on. Like absolutely terrible. Draco is the last Reggie. No, we have Giga. Sorry. There's a second to last Reggie. This one's got ability Dragon's Treasure. Once you turn, if it's in your active, you can draw until you have 4 cards in your hand. Now, it does have 3 retreats, so putting it in your active is a little bit risky. But with the power of Air Balloon, you can just refill your hand after you get all your Reggies in play. And then for Grass, Fire Color, so 160. 2 shots, almost anything in the game. Pretty good. Eevee has a Sympathetic Evolution. When you play a card to evolve one of your Eevee, you can search to evolve this Eevee as well. So if we ever get like better evolutions, I guess this would be really good. But at the moment, we don't have very good evolutions. But I think I could play this card and expand it and Flareon. You know what I'm saying? Hoot Hoot has a very cool ability as well with Lookout. As long as this Pokemon's in play, basic energy attached to your bench Pokemon cannot be discarded by the effects of your opponent's items and supporters. So Flannery, Flannery, Crushing Hammer can't be discarded. Any of the discard effects. I guess Fan still works because it goes to the bottom of your deck, but this is very... Oh, no, Fan doesn't work because it's just basic energy. I'm trolling. I'm so sorry. But it's a cool ability if we're afraid of hammers, like, pretty frequently. Or you need hammers to not happen. I feel like that's a weird translation here, but we're just going to move past that. I'm not going to acknowledge it whatsoever. Teddy Ursa is just get item if you flip heads. We've already seen a lot of get item cards so far that are just significantly better than this Teddy, even though he's so cute. And then Ursaring has the 40 times each heads until we get tails. So pretty bad for both of them. Ursaluna has Pete Hunt, but it's on a stage 2. 2 item cards, or 2 cards from discard into your hand. Really good control card, but really unfortunate that it's on a stage 2. So maybe a Zorobox control style to make this work. Stantler's pretty bad as well. We have the Miltank with the Miraculous Body, which is prevent all damage done to this Pokemon from attacks from Pokemon V. Very, very strong, especially if a deck only plays V Pokemon or becomes like one of these face rolly high roll decks. You can just throw up this Miltank, get the kickabouts going for 10 plus 20, and then we can just wall successfully with a bunch of Miltanks. And if our opponent plays maybe, these Radiant Pokemon to kind of deal with this, they can deal with 1 Miltank. What if we've got 3 or 4 Miltank in recovery? Like, they're not going to be able to deal with every Miltank. Glameow is okay. Purugly is just bad. Chatot is bad comparatively to its predecessors. We have Gigas with the ability Ancient Wisdom during your turn. If you have Rock, Steel, Ice, Aleki, Draco all in play, search your deck for discard. Search your discard for 3 energy cards and attach them to one of your Pokemon. This includes Auroras, Twins, like double turbos, whatever. And then Giganto Break is 150 plus 150 if we have this big guy attacking into a Vmax. Now, we have an answer theoretically to any matchup in this deck with the Reggies. It's a very funny deck. Obviously, you need all 6 in play to kind of get the ability rolling, but it's a very fun and cool deck. I would like to see it work. Rufflet and Braviary have nothing, I believe. Actually, the Braviary does do 30 times the number of energy on the active, so it is like a return, like a revenge card or very reactive card, but it's also on a stage 1 and hits for no weaknesses because it's colorless. Oranguru has Order. Throw it in the active, get 2 tools, basically get its own balloon for it, and then get like a Jammer or a Choice Belt or something. And then Psychic is 30 plus 50 for each energy attached to our opponent's Pokemon. So again, Oranguru can slide into a deck that has any form of acceleration to kind of clean out a game. If you have Raihan plus DTE, maybe this is enough to end the game in your favor. So Oranguru could be really good, but again, it's a V Pokemon, so keep that in mind. Wardier is the throw it onto your bench, go to your active, move all your energies to it kind of guy. Very cool. But Psyshield Bass is 40 times the number of energy attached to this Pokemon, which is very, very weak because it's not reactive anyway. It's just kind of like, my board is already really good. And I think if your board is already in a spot where it's that good that you can afford to play this Weirdier and not hit for any weakness and not hit, like, punish your opponent anyway, I don't know why you play this card. Like, if your board's already in a state, like, where you have so many energy on board, I just don't know. Like, it just doesn't seem like a worth it card. We are on the fun cards now. Adaman is basically Crash or Wake. Discard 2 metal. Search your deck for 2 cards. Put them in your hand. Very cool. Very strong. Gets the early setup for the metal decks going. The Bronzong decks. The Magnezone decks. Whatever. Gets the mid game going, I guess. I really like this just because it's a very strong card. And synergizes really well with Crobat as well. Canceling Cologne is no active abilities. So you can go Boss on a Manaphy. Play the Cologne. And flow with Urshi. Or you can, I don't know, find other things to cancel, but it's a very cool card. Definitely goes into Urshi. Choi is both revealed, and you draw 3. So I like these draw threes that have an added effect. This one's just a really bad added effect. Silene is flip a coin, flip 2 coins for each heads, choose a card from your discard, put it on top of your deck. Control card for sure. For sure. Dark Patch is back. If you guys didn't know what it did, it's a dark from back discard to one of your bench dark Pokemon. This circular Dark Patch, however, is very ugly, so I'll be using my old Dark Patches. Lotto is also back, which is top 7 of your card. Reveal an energy card there, put it in your hand. Searches for DTE, searches for Auroras, searches for some of those more niche cards we're looking for, like Fusion Strike energies. Cool card. Welcome back. Featherball is 0 retreat. Put it into our hand. I don't know how relevant that is. I don't know what has 0 retreat off the top of my head that's really good besides Mew. So, we'll see. Gape Jaw Bog is basic on the bench, 2 damage counters. Works with the Bite Sharp that we mentioned. Works with the Machamp that we mentioned. I don't know where else we'd probably use Gape Jaw Bog, but it's cool. Gardenia's Vigor is one of the new supporters that everyone has been raving about. Draw 2 cards, then attach up to 2 grass energies from your hand to one of your bench Pokemon. Now, this does not have to be grass Pokemon, so it's just a little bit of a worse welder because we're only drawing 2. But we have the added effect of looking at our cards first before we put 2 grass energies onto our board. But there is no stadium that gets us energies like Hearth existed. So, a card that I think definitely has a lot of potential and will see play. I guarantee you a grass type deck will just see play. Or you can play Gardenia's Vigor and Grass Arceus or something and just power up an Arceus in 1 turn. Rather than worry about Raihan plays or something. I don't know. Grant is another really cool card. Fighting, do 30 more this turn. And then if this is in your discard, you can discard 2 cards and get Grant right back. So it's a thinning card, and it does 30 extra damage. Pretty good in my books. It's just a Leon on crack, basically. But it's only for fighting type Pokemon, so don't get me wrong. Mr. Leon helps everybody. Grant does not. Grant is a fighting hoe. Gutsy Pickaxe is reveal a top card. If it's a fighting, attach it to one of your benched. And then if not, it's just a... Here, look at the card I'm drawing. It's going into my hand. So with a Ranguru, we can make plays to set up attackers in 1 turn. If not, this just becomes a free draw 1 at any given point. So a Gutsy Pickaxe, I think, will make its way into a lot of fighting decks. As a free +1. Hisuian Heavy Ball will also make its way into a lot of decks because you can look at your face down prize cards, get a basic, and put it into your hand, and then you shuffle the Hisuian back in randomly. Yeah, simple as that. And you can choose to fail and put it into the discard. Iridia, or Irida, search your deck for water and an item card, reveal them, put them in your hand. Really good for setup, really good in almost every facet of the game to just basically grab hey, Palkia, or grab, hey, Greninja, because Greninja is a water-type Pokemon, and lest you forget, almost every deck can use the Greninja, so getting Greninja plus Ultra Ball or getting Greninja plus Quick Ball is pretty good. Jubilee Village is, I think, a card that can make its way into most decks as a one-of, because you can just kind of get to the end of your turn and be like, okay, I have 2, 3 playable cards, let me just shuffle, get a full new group of 5, and you end your turn, going first, so. Or even going second if you don't have a good going second attack. Kamado is... discard everything but 1 and then draw 4, which is really cool in theory, but I don't know if I'd ever have just 1 card I want to keep and get rid of the rest. Roxanne is absolutely toxic for the game, and I cannot wait to see it being played. If your opponent has 3 or less prize cards, we both shuffle in. I draw 6, you get 2, so we're going to be Roxanning each other towards the end of the game, putting each other at 2 cards and seeing what happens. Curry is 40 and they're not burned. The glasses make our damage do 3x instead of 2x in weakness. And the honey is just heal, which could be really good, but we want to keep the honey for the Vespiquen deck. Switching card is one of those other cool switch effects that we have now added to our repertoire, or I don't know, of cards we can use. And healing 30 is very cute as well, because maybe that 30 is enough to offset a lot of math. Temple of Sinnoh is a really cool control card and one to counteract a lot of these special energies being played, making all of our special energy provide only 1 colorless and nothing else. So very cool. Trekking Shoes is another very interesting card that will change the dynamic of decks because we can look at our top card, either put it into our hand or just pitch it and draw 1 more. So either way, we can go 2 cards deeper or just get a free draw off of this. So just like the Pickaxe, the Trekking Shoes are both very similar, just keep going effects. And we have not had that much turn and burn in our current format. So there's a lot of cool new turn and burn coming in the form of interesting new cards. Fossil is here as well. Wait and See Turbo is going second. Attach a basic from our deck. Right? Yeah. And then shuffle. Turn ends too, so which is crazy. So we can get 2 attaches, I guess, and turn end. So pretty bad. Zisu is drawn until we have 1 more card in our hand than our opponent. So pretty bad as well. I think that rounds out the set, unless... Oh, this is a beautiful alt art, by the way. But I think that rounds out everything in the set. So if you guys did enjoy this video, please do like, please subscribe. And tomorrow we will have the buy list video up. Comment what cards you think will be on the buy list and in what quantity. Like if you guys think I'm going to buy 69 of Ottomon, for example, please comment that down below. I know this video is a little bit longer than usual. For everyone who made it to the end, let me know what you think about this format of me doing set reviews, where I go more in depth on competitive cards. We will be starting to see some Astral Radiance deck profiles coming up here shortly. On the channel, we will be doing discussions. So let me know in the comments as well what decks you want to see personally. But until next time, adios, guys.